Oh, so right after Sinister slaughters all the humans that he promised that he would save if Charles got the mutants off the Earth, Moira is going in for the kill shot, but she's talking too damn much, and Rogue comes in, swoops him away. They're headed back to Krakoa. En route back to Krakoa, Charles is scanning for all the mutants that he, thought he sent there, and they gone. He can't feel them nowhere. Charles is in such a deep depression. He feels like he sent 250,000 mutants to their death to the meat grinder.
He think he sent them to a Rocco.
And boy, well, no, now he thinks he just straight up killed him. But hold on, let me see if I can find the book where my boy was looking rough.
Madonna tore it from the floor.
Good God, fam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to introduce you to our new sponsor, Manscaped. Yeah. I'm just playing. I wish. Hey, no, holla at us, though, for real, because, I mean, I would do an ad read in the middle of a comic book.
Like, if he don't look like Patrick Stewart in that picture of the football boy, look.
Definitely look like Patrick Stewart in that book. So that's kind of the layout of what happened in Hellfire Gala. That's where we're at. Orcus is on top. They are blaming the mutants for the human lives that were lost at the Hellfire Gala, still sowing misinformation everywhere about, and they're currently hunting the remnants that are left over. So that's kind of the table that we pick up on here at the end, or at the beginning of Immortal X-Men, to kind of set the stage. Charles looking real rough, like terribly rough. He's just recounting the events of the gala. Like he seems like he saw in great detail that happened to Jubilee and the rest of the new X-Men. And the thing to keep in mind with all of this is that resurrection is done, so these deaths are weighing a little bit differently, especially with the people that survived, right? Because now you can't play with your life the way you used to, which is an investment for a nation of people that's been resurrecting themselves on command.
Is that a dragonfly sitting on top of my dog's head on page 3?
That's why I said he down bad. He hasn't moved from that spot. That's the same spot he was in when Rogue dropped him off on the island. My man hasn't moved. He was in the bathroom on himself. He hasn't eaten. Somebody need to go check on Charles.
Wait. Maybe because the suit that he got on, maybe it's made out of unstable molecules. We don't talk about that. That's a lost terminology when we talk about a costume. So maybe the suit being made out of unstable molecules is allowing him to handle his business. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. We'll reach for that if you want to. Just going through despair though. Right? Like he honestly believes that all of the mutants are dead. And how far they were driving this into the ground, I maybe would have believed it if they didn't do it in the Hellfire Gala, right? And then they talked about it in New X-Men Red Book. And now here we got the first 3 pages is him languishing in anguish. So, yeah, no, this is not gonna stick. And you pretty much telling me that they're not dead. Too strong, Kieran Gillen, way too strong. Like, at least leave it ambiguous. We can just not talk about this shit for this issue. We can let that shit flirt in the ether. But when you go for these big, wild, shock death events, is it really incumbent on you to undo them as fast as you possibly can?
Nothing moved the needle. I'm gonna tell you what moved the needle. I'm gonna tell you what bothered me.
They didn't give it time to. They didn't give it time to matter.
You covered Hellfire Gala. Great job. I was more bothered about the people that was, new X-Men that looked like me.
Oh, you mean the X-Men team that was about 60% black and got slaughtered immediately?
That's me right there. Like, if anything, I'm looking at Karen Gillan, I'm like I don't, man, how old are you again, Marcus?
I will be 31 in January.
Bro, when I was 31, that was the running damn joke. It's like, man, stop doing that with black folks. You always kill them off. But it's like, man, come on, man. It's like, people voting for these fictional characters have been wanting Frenzy on the team. Mm-hmm. Getting Sync on the team was something that people got, when they did it, they're like, yeah, we got Sync. But you got Frenzy. I mean, it's not Frenzy. You got Prodigy. That's a member of the LGBTQ. So you had 3 people on that team. Kane Marco, I'm not going to sleep on that. You know what I'm saying? But you had 3 people on that team that represent me. That because we don't see 3 colored people on the X-Men at one time. That ain't what we
leading it though, and leading it. Like
right.
leading
That's
the
not
team.
what we see. So you have the opportunity to do something meaningful and impactful, and instead it's just something to put on the emotional heartstring. Like honestly, I'll be honest with you. You kind of asking me to, not you, but you kind of asking me to give a damn after you just gave me something not to give a damn about. You want me to give a damn about?
I mean, like I said about this event in general, like what happened here at the Hellfire Gala. This was eventually supposed to happen. If you look at the original timelines, right, in House and Powers, some type of heavy setback where they lose a vast majority of their numbers happens somewhere around the time of them, completing their ascension over the humans. Mm-hmm. But that's when it happens. And it becomes at a behest of a betrayal from Sinister at one point. And then at some point, I think the breeding pits, the people in the breeding pits escape or fight back or something like that. It was a whole bunch of shit. They literally told y'all what was going to happen to these mutants for a 1,000-year run, and gave you events of them pitfalling and having setbacks. It just wasn't supposed to happen this early for them. We have not moved the X-Men beyond their fight with the human beings, but we know that their fight goes beyond base level humans. Let's get there and have them have this type of setback. Not losing to a ragtag group of damage control, shield, remnants of shield, AIM, and any other anti-mutant organization around the world, because we know ultimately that is not what keeps them from being who they are. Now, maybe I'm underselling the Karima part of all this, right? Because Karima came back from a future where mutants win. And so now they're acting off of information from the future where they actually, they do ascend past mutants. So it's kind of getting them into conflicts earlier. But even still, right? The future is not easily changed. Your fortunes are not dictated by the actions that you think are going to correct something. Sometimes things just end up the way that they are. And so even in the face of that, it's okay to see Orchis fail miserably at something that we already know that they eventually fail at anyway.
You know what this feels like to me? This feels like a better Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals. Because what's going to change? Is Scott Summers really dead?
No, Scott's not dead. None of the people that died are going to stay dead. I think what's going to change is that, all right, so right now, we got Mutant Civil War. We've got mutants basically being expelled from Earth. And Nimrod, let's just throw that in there, right? We got to contend with all of that right now. I think what they're going to do is, if I'm being fair, like if I'm being fair and optimistic, I think what they're going to do is clear the board for the Earthbound threats. Right, it's not gonna be easy. Like, they gonna sell these comic books. They just launched 4 or 5 new X books, Uncanny Avengers, Dark Avengers. What's the name? Wolverine fighting with Ghost Fighter for some reason. They doing a whole bunch of stuff. I swear to God, I just saw Iceman die, but he got a solo book. So like I don't even know what's going on in that book.
I could tell you because I saw like Iceman literally died in a comic book and came back in a comic book release, if not the next week, the next month.
Like, I mean, we watched him melt in Nimrod's hands, and he got a book coming after this event. Like, come on.
And that's what
how
the thing
am I supposed to read that and be like, damn, he got Bobby? And then I turn the page, 2 pages on, and I see a solicit for Astonishing Iceman.
What it is
all of X. So what the hell?
This is what got us burnt out before, because So those of us that grew up reading them, you know, back in the day, we saw them go from their blue and yellow costumes to giant size X-Men 1 and everything like that. And they were doing, you know, Jean Grey had the Phoenix Force. We saw them go to the Outback and everything like that. We Star Jammers. It's like you keep good. You want to keep telling me the world don't accept them as heroes. Okay. And I know people go back and forth, well, you know, he's supposed to be Malcolm X and he's supposed to be Professor Charles Xavier. There is no truth to it. There is truth to it. It's like, man, you know what? We're not going through what our ancestors went through back in the day. We're not. Are we going through some effed up stuff? Yes, we are. But we're more accepted worldwide than back then. You have the mutants literally stuck in first gear. Because right now, you just revved it up.
Same age-old, you know, hatred of mutants, you know, it's but they never seem to have that type of hatred for the superpowered humans. It's like, what's the difference to you? What is the difference to you in that sense, right? Like, if it's just the fact that you have things that I don't, and you're a god amongst men, well, that same thing can be said about Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. So what beef can somebody really make you have about the mutants that you don't have for the Avengers? And so, you know, in my mind, I the reason why I digest it that way is like mutants are basically the black superheroes of Marvel, right? Like we don't talk about the actual black superheroes, so the de facto blacks of the Marvel universe is the mutants, and that's why it is that way.
And it gets tiring after a while. Like I said,
sure.
it's just
absolutely.
It's Sebastian Shaw really not gonna get his mutant powers back.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to next, right? So there was one person who was missing from the gala. I think that Emma was inquiring about him with Rasputin. He wasn't on the island. He wasn't at Mickens. So, you know, they digressed. Turns out he hit the dodge because he already knew what was going on. But Destiny tried to tell y'all. He tried to tell y'all about Selene. He tried to tell y'all about Shaw. He's fucking compromised. For some reason, we're just not going to trust the future seer. Well, not for some reason, because Destiny is a lying liar with a lying face. So she did. You can't lie when you tell the future, right? Like, maybe you get away with one of them, but she been lying a lot. So it's really shitty where you can't trust the person who sees the future. Like, you gotta treat everything they say take it with a grain of salt. Well, damn, I can predict shit. What are you good for? But she definitely called it, right? Shaw's getting paid from Krakoa. I guess they gifted him Krakoa, but not their money. Literally just the physical space, not their assets, not anything that he actually wanted. Because he's thinking, oh man, Krakoa's going down. It's a fire sale. Let me pick up the crumbs while everybody's getting killed. And lo and behold, they left him with a big heap of nothing. A big heap of nothing. So I think he's going to have an interesting interaction with Charles when he shows up and tries to, clear everything out. But yeah, so for now he's kind of screwed. He does go. Is this at the Hellfire Gala? Where is he at the Hellfire Club?
He's at the Hellfire Club.
Okay, so he pulls up at the Hellfire Club to go talk to the Mother Righteous. Not feeling this little pentagram thing he got going on there. Didn't know Mother Righteous was a sadist. But any case, she comes. He inquires. Oh, I did all this stuff for you, and you played me. No shit, Shaw. Some red lady came to you months ago and whispered in your ear about the downfall of your nation, and you're surprised that you got screwed. Congratulations.
But here's a quarter, stick it in your behind, you played yourself.
For sure. She's not very apologetic about it. Right? Just kind of is what it is.
At all.
My man to move. Go about your business before you get dealt with. She calls security on him.
Listen.
Like, he has absolutely no respect. You are a turncoat. You are Benedict Arnold for no reason.
Listen, I want to say this gave me vibes right here. From when Wolverine went through and made mincemeat out of all them boys when John Byrne was drawing these cats back in the day. Love it. Love this. Damn, it made me feel good to see them boys back on the watch again. My boy kept saying, you have to leave immediately.
Yeah, get the hell on out. And it's funny because just as he's getting escorted out and talking his shit, he gets a mental message from one Emma Frost, who's part of the resistance right now, and just basically clowns him like, yo, you turned your back on the mutant nation for crumbs and pennies. What a loser. What a loser. So the trial for Sinister that they had in the original timeline, I imagine will be replaced by the end of this with the trial of Shaw. He'll probably be branded a traitor and like killed in the Circle of Perilous or something.
Shaw trying to get to that island, trying to excavate the island.
Yeah, okay. So this is Shaw's plans, right? He's gonna get there. He's gonna clear everything out. He has to give the external gate to Selene because I'm sure that was part of their deal. They are conscious of the fact that the island lives and it needs to be fed, but they're gonna go about it in a much easier way and just sacrifice people, probably political opponents, remnants of the mutant resistance, things of that nature. But once again, he's going to have trouble with not just Charles, but all of the wildlife that was on Krakoa. I don't know if you ever caught it, but like they have different animals on that island, right? Like they have Krakoan animals. Like it's some stuff there, you know. So it's not going to be so simple. Is Selene not a vampire?
They keep changing her powers, man. Like she's
Is
supposed
she
to
a
be
vampire? So she's sunbathing?
she's supposed to be an energy vampire.
Okay.
Yeah, not the run of the mill vampire. Energy vampire.
Okay. Well, sorry. Sounds like a cop out to me, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Oh man, Emma. As I said at the beginning of the issue, somebody need to check in on Charles because he's having an existential crisis, and he just doesn't want to hear it. He's like, "No, I did it. Leave me the hell alone. Like this is probably the worst thing I've ever done." He's in the pits, guys. Is no one, well, I know someone is because the next book we're going to review, but is no one entertaining the idea that these mutants aren't dead? I mean, we haven't actually confirmed. And if you were Orcus and you were just going to kill all the mutants, why would you send them to some distant place? You know what I mean? Like, let's get them, let's open up that gate right on top of the sun and they can fall right into it or something like that. I feel like you would know, you would have confirmation of the fact that they were all killed a lot quicker than what's happening here in real time.
Not
So it
only
just
that,
seems like a blind spot for Charles right now.
I go back to it. So you mean to tell me, Orcus, with all the resources you have at your disposal, the mutants walk to the gate. They still on Earth. You mean tell me you didn't pick up 250,000 life forms just mysteriously popping up someplace else?
Well, so let's hold that. Because as, you know, the first wave of Orcus operatives arrive to the island, they're met with some of the mutating monsters on Krakoa, and that draws them back. Charles doesn't even have to fire a shot. He does give a little of an eerie quote here at the end. But as long as I live, I will not let another memory be desecrated by those who are bathed in blood. I would rather the air was torn from their lungs than the smell of the flowers growing on this mutant grave. No more, no more, no more. Charles about to do something crazy. I think somebody should let him know that. Bang! On the very next page, we got Exodus, the 5, Destiny, and all 250,000 mutants that walk through the gate. Not dead.
I'm gonna tell you when it's gonna go left. And if I was the humans, I'd be worried. Because Eric ain't gonna stay dead.
If you were the humans? Oh yeah, well, I mean, but you think they're gonna try to resurrect them wherever they're at right now?
I'm saying whenever Eric come back, because I believe it's gonna be in the midst of this storyline. Like I don't believe he's gonna
I hope so, man. This is a storyline that's built for like a Magneto hero moment.
Yeah, I don't believe the story arc will be done and then we get Eric back. No, I believe you took Eric off the board for a reason. Because Charles not going through this if Eric is still around. Yeah, he had the right for a reason. So when Eric come back, and
he
honestly
killed Charles himself to keep him from doing what Charles did. He would have murdered him right there on the spot, and I don't think Charles would have been mad at him when he got resurrected.
It's the same dude who put up. Oraco is the second planet. The dude had asteroid in him. We need to understand that. He put that together by himself. And the dude launched nuclear missiles toward Earth from that planet, from that asteroid. So it's one of them things where when Eric come back, Eric find out what's going on with Orcus and everything like that, I think there's going to be hell to pay. Sinister might as well kiss his ass goodbye. Eric
this is also really weird. So apparently there's 250,000 of them, but none of them have useful powers. That doesn't even make fucking sense.
I'm not going with that.
That doesn't make any sense. We have a city full of people. Most of them have no useful mutant powers. What are you talking about? 225,000 people? No one has a useful ability. No one can create water. No one can create shelter with their powers. No one can defend us with their powers. No one can heal anybody. No one can feed anyone with their powers. 250,000 mutants. You know what? They should have went there. They should have went there because they ain't nothing but a drag on society. Goddammit, leave them where they at.
250,000 ain't no.
Not a useful power in sight is what Hope said.
What was Triple? No, Vince McMahon's theme song WWE. No chance in hell.
Now, okay, maybe she means useful in getting back. You know, maybe she means teleportation wise. Like we can't move. We have no mutants that can help us transport, which also feels weird, being that you have 250,000 of them to choose from.
Because you say so. Because you say so. I'm gonna let that go. Because you say so. Come, Mark, ladies and gentlemen, Marcus just gave Karen Gillan an out. I'm gonna go with that.
I mean, that's the best I can do. That's the best I can do.
Only because he said it.
But now, this shot of Exodus leading his disciples is actually pretty dope. Because to me, the whole Hope and Exodus back and forth. First of all, I don't even understand why Hope hates Exodus so much. But he is the true believer. If ever there was going to be a person that people follow like zealots, it's going to be Exodus, not Hope. Not Hope. Like, they tried real hard. Hope is the engine to resurrection. You know what I'm saying? She's key to the five. But Exodus is the religious feature, right? He's the religious figure.
You see how she looking at him, big dog? See how she looking at him?
Well, she giving him some respect now.
Yeah, you look like you mad at him no more.
Yeah, oh no, she giving him some respect. Now, who the Messiah now? Who's the Messiah now?
Better put some RSPCP on that.
Depending on Exodus to lead us out of wherever we're at. It just looks like the desert to me, but I'm sure since Charles can't read them, they're not on Earth or probably anywhere close. So we'll see what happens with that, where they are. Last thoughts on Immortal X-Men and the not so brief overview that we did of Hellfire Gala. How do you judge it? Where are we at with this?
I don't know, Karen. I don't know. It's giving me, I've been here and done this before type vibe. I've been here before. Don't raise the stakes. That's what it feels like. You're raising the stakes for nothing.
Well, you got to pick a lane, right? You can tell the mundane story and just stick to storytelling and plot and really drive that home. Or you can go for the shock value stuff. But if you go and do the shock value stuff, some of it has to last. That stuff only works if you're leaving a lasting impact on the title, on the characters, on the story. If it is going to be another Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals event, we know nothing coming out of that really meant a whole lot of anything.
And that's where I'm at right now, unfortunately.
Oh.
That's where I'm at. That's the feeling that I'm getting.
Ooh, I am so glad I mentioned that. So glad I mentioned that. So glad I mentioned that. And we will pick it. You will see why when you watch the X-Men Red review that we're getting ready to do. Because that's going to be one of the first things that I mention. But final thoughts on Immortal X-Men. It's middling right now. It has been a book that has been worthwhile. So I'm going to give it the time and allow it to get out of this event before I chuck it. But right now it's middling is what I would describe it as. Right.
That's not right.
Give us your thoughts. Tell us what you thought about the book, the event of Fall of X altogether. Put it in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for more comic book reviews. Appreciate it, Theo.
Peace.